am so excited to have you with me today, and Lei Wang is with me today. And I want to introduce her just briefly before I have her introduce herself. So this week, I am doing a theme about letting go, and it just so happens that I have Lei Wang on my show. And I want to say that she is the most incredible champion to have on my show because she was the first um, Asian American and Asian woman to complete the Explorers Grand Slam. And if any of you listening know what that is, oh my gosh, I cannot even imagine. She was climbing the tallest mountain on every continent and skiing to the North Pole and South Pole. And those of you that know me, know that the only way that I'm running up a mountain is if a bear is chasing me, and I'm certainly not going to get cold. So her background is so cold for me. I would have to be all bundled in so much. So thank you so much for joining me today. Um, Go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience today and tell them what you're passionate about.
Thank you, Gina. Thank you so much for having me here today. So my name is Lei Wang. Right now, I'm living in Seattle, Washington. And before that, I came from China as a book nerd.
Oh,
Before, in my 30s, I just found this hidden passion of climbing mountains. So that transformed me from a normal corporate career woman to an adventurer. And today I'm focusing on empowering people through my speaking and my coaching.
got it. I mean, that's so incredible to me. I can't even imagine. So I'm a book nerd, I'm a scientist. And I'll be honest with you, like I applied to be on Survivor, the TV show, and I thought, I mean, I didn't get on, but I thought I was adventurous, but I would never go climb um mountains. So what was it that empowered you, or like you were studying and you just thought one day like I'm going to do this? Like how did that come to be? I'm just so interested in that.
Yeah, so that was right after I finished my MBA. I started a new career in finance, and then I got inspired by some documentaries about mountaineering. I just
Mhm.
thought, wow, what if someone like me, who is a book nerd, totally have no athletic talents, to go climb something like Mount Everest? And at beginning was a daydream. All I really
Mhm.
wanted was a nudge to adopt a healthier lifestyle. So I joined a gym, then a running club, then a hiking group. But one small step led to another. So eventually I found myself, wow, I'm in the climbing classes now, and I was progressing. And before I realized, found out, wow, climbing really became my passion now.
Oh, I love that. So you had little small steps to kind of reach this goal that you had. Was there any time like along this journey that you were able to climb all these mountains, like any hurdles or roadblocks that stood in your way? And like, how did you overcome those hurdles to be able to climb the mountains?
Yeah, definitely. Because when you share the story after you finished everything, everyone noticed, oh, yeah, you were standing on top of this mountain, you were on the summit of that one. How did you feel on the top of the mountain? But the hardest thing was really get to the base of the mountain. Hardest thing in
Mhm.
the everyday training. So it took me 6 years of
Wow.
learning from starting from joining a gym right at my first step. So learning all the basic steps, learning basic skills, and train day in and day out. At beginning, I really didn't expect myself to go all the way because
Mhm.
I had no athletic background until my 30s. I frankly say, the one fun thing is when I started, I asked people, why do you call that a hiking? What's the difference between hiking and walking? So
Yeah.
even something so basic, I had no clue before I started the whole thing. So on a daily basis, it's not only like the training, every step that feel like impossible. Like when I went to the gym first, I said, oh my God, that people lifting this, not people doing that, and I'll never be able to do it. But well, after I progressed a few years later, I thought, oh wow, I'm doing the thing I said I'll never be able to do. So that happens on every mountain. Every mountain I showed up as the least likely to succeed because I was the smallest one, I was seen the weakest one, often the only woman. So no one expect me to really go all the way. And I also didn't have the confidence at the beginning. I would,
Mm,
yeah, I will see how far I can go. So every time I feel like it's a mission impossible. And also when you ask about the hurdle along the way, there's numerous. There's so many times like life is never smooth, right? Especially when you're focusing on big goal, you'll have all the up and downs in daily life. You may have like a bumpy relationship in your life. You have some unhappy days at your work, and then you have financial issues. You have all kinds of security issues. So there's all the time you're like, oh, what I'm doing? Why should I keep going? Should I, like, is this just something a fantasy? So you have doubt all the time. So overcoming those things on a daily basis was the hardest thing. So it
mm.
took me 6 years to get to base of Everest. That's the hardest part. Climbing was only 2 months. Sounds long,
Wow.
but compared to 6 months, actually much faster.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. You talk about 6 years. I mean, 6 years to get to the base, to get there. So, I mean, imaginally there's everyday thoughts coming into your head, right? Or doubts or like voices from your family or like you said like coming from a culture that this might not be expected of you and your size. And so what is it like for 6 years? How did you keep on that track? What did you do so that you didn't fall doubt to yourself, and how did you let go of those thoughts? What was that like?
Yeah, thank you. So for the long journey like that, it's very important. What I call the mighty purpose, a mighty goal, because I'm a mighty mouse. So it's something that beyond yourself that is driving you. So for me, when I started beginning, I thought, oh, what if someone like me and just an ordinary person who has no special advantage, no special talents, can do
um,
something people considered impossible or extraordinary? So that was a fantasy, but when I see it's possible if you
mhm.
focus on that, if you just never give up, you keep on making progress, then I thought, wow, that can send a strong message to many people who just because they have never achieved something remarkable yet, they felt like they will never can. So I think that is
Yes.
a strong message to help those people. So that kind of motivated me. I felt, yeah, I need to keep doing the same, even myself at that point didn't really believe like I could go all the way. But the thing that's inspiring, that's called I say it's a mighty purpose. And also the goal sounds impossible. But actually a lot of time when we say something is impossible, it's only seemingly impossible, not really impossible.
Got it.
Because you are so far away from that achievement, you think it's impossible. Actually, it's only seemingly impossible. So that was something when I keep that in mind, whenever I
Mm.
have a setback, have something that pick me up again. So yeah, I need to do the hard thing because if it's not hard, everyone will be doing it. And that's why we need someone to motivate people, to empower people. So you got to start by doing the hard things every day.
I love that. You know, it's interesting. So, from a psychology standpoint, what a lot of the research over hundreds of years have shown about letting go, some of the reasons why people don't start in the first place is because they haven't had an achievement. So, if you haven't felt an achievement, like you said, and you just said this, you haven't felt an achievement and what that's like, you may not believe that you can achieve it or that you deserve to achieve it or that you're worthy of achieving that. And we just can't let those mindsets hold us back, right? And if we're in those mindsets, we can reach out to people like yourself who have overcome the impossible to accomplish the possible. And I think that's so beautiful. And so you've done this. What keeps you happy to keep going through this journey? Like you seem to have done all the impossible that you want to accomplish.
Well, life is a journey that goes on forever. So in the past, what was driving me was climbing Everest, was
Mm,
doing those things I thought was impossible. And today, what drives me is about empowering other people to achieve what
mm,
they believe is impossible, but actually is achievable through effort. And that also sounds like a mission impossible to me as just because I think many people can relate. We often wonder, can I really make a difference? I'm just one person, one voice, one effort. Will I ever make a difference? So that
mm.
sounds like impossible, but I just feel, yeah, that will be a good challenge for me to influence as many people as possible, empower many people as possible, to help them overcome their own obstacles to achieve what they think is impossible. And then they can lead their teams to accomplish the impossible. Then that'll be the ripple effect to lift up so many people. Then that I can just say, every person life I touched, every person I helped, that is the goal. That is the mountain I'm climbing. So that motivates me right now.
Aw, well, thank you for being so inspiring. I mean, truly helping people, whatever standing in their way, something great to their own life, right? And so I think that's so important. How did you learn this? Something that you said you were a study nerd and that you were studying. Was this something, this mindset or this drive or what is inside of you? Was there something that you learned that helped you become what you are today? Or was there something that has been inspiring to you to continue to learn and grow from?
Well, it's similar like training. One small step lead to another. So
Mhm.
when the first step, so if you think about how to climb Everest, that sounds impossible. But when I set that goal, I actually had a secret low bar goal and say, oh, if I can just go to the gym every day, that'd be great. So start with the first small step. Well, to motivate myself to go to the gym after work, after long hours in the office, I still can go to the gym. That's a step. And after a whole week of working hard, on the weekend, I still can move myself into the mountains to learn, to practice. So just
Yes.
starting from very small steps, then each time when you win that small battle, now today I'm tired, I don't want to go to gym, but I made it. Then tomorrow, I said, yeah, yesterday I did it, today I can still do it. And last time I said, oh, this little hill behind my house looked too tall to me. Well, I did it last week, so today, this week I can go on a little bit further, go a little bit higher. So every past win will motivate you, give you the confidence to tackle the next one slightly higher. So one small step lead to another. Before you notice, you are on a much, much higher mountain on a much, much longer journey. So that's how things.
Wow. I love that. You know, this is similar to something that Barbara, one of my colleagues and friends suggested to me. So I'm writing a book and my days are just full of all sorts of stuff running a business and I'm having a hard time getting to my book and she suggests to spend 15 minutes, set your timer and every day write for 15 minutes and I'm like, that sounds doable. So making a small goal, like maybe the goal is like for me, 15 minutes a day, I'm going to write in my book and set the timer. Don't do any more than that. Just do that. And every day you feel a sense of accomplishment because I was able to write for 15 minutes and okay, my time is done. I can move on now. And so this idea that you have doesn't have to be a large goal. It's a small goal. And then maybe next week I can maybe increase it to 16 minutes or 17 minutes, making small steps. I love that. So I think you have a mind of a champion. This is why I love you having you on my podcast today. What does that mean to you, having a mind of a champion? If when I say that, what does that mean to you?
The mind of champion to me just means you got to do the hard things on a daily basis.
Oh,
Like overcome because you yourself are the biggest hurdle between you and your dreamed life, your dreamed success. So every day you're gonna, if you notice, you're gonna hear yourself, I don't want to go to the gym. I want to eat that piece of dessert. I don't want to eat the healthy thing is boring, or like, oh, I just want one more bite, right? Can I just watch one more video? Can I just like spend 5 more minutes watching this useless piece of something, right? So we do
Yeah.
that all the time. So every time is a little battle with yourself. You don't win every time. I
No.
admit, no one is a Superman. I lose the battles all the time, but if I can win some, that's a win to me. So every day do the hard thing. And yeah, I know, just control not to do the thing I really have urge to do, but I know it's not good for me for long term. I can win it once. That's a little win to me every day.
I love that. That was my that's the theme of my podcast this season is what is winning. Everyone has a unique view on what meaning winning means to them. And so I love this idea of setting the small things every day. Because every day, right, we have to get up and think, how are we going to win today? That's how we start. How do you start your day? Do you think that in terms of winning? Like, what does winning mean to you every day?
Every day is I normally have a plan the night before of what do
Oh.
I want to do tomorrow, what would be, because there are so many things I don't want to say, all right, there are 10 goals tomorrow I'm going to hit. I just say, okay, what's the most important thing I have to hit tomorrow? And
Mm.
if I can hit that, and what are the top three? And what will be the bonus? So I have a plan in my head. Then when I wake up, the habit could be I grab the phone, want to check the message. Then I'll have a conversation with, hey, is this what you want to get into your brain the first thing in the morning? Go to read those chatting messages or read some useless information where flooded with all kinds of information, but useless to you. So, and what would you rather your brain be occupied right now? What do you want to listen? What do you want to learn? Or what question you want to keep it on your mind right now? So this morning, the
Yes.
first thing I read was your email, and I love the question. I thought, oh wow, that's really great. So I started into my reflection mode, and I went to write my journal. And yeah, that's a great question. Make me reflect a lot.
Yeah, I love that. You have to have a plan, don't you? You definitely need to have a plan. You need to have a plan every day. You need to plan every day to make it a good day. If you start your day thinking that oh, I got to get up, I have to go to work, I got to deal with these people, or whatever that mindset is, you can take the time to make it a plan to make it be a good day. And even if that's just one thing to reflect on or one thing to do or be kind about, it's so important to have a plan, because without it we're going to be lost, especially if we're going to go climb a mountain. I bet you have lots of plans, because that would be an adventure if you didn't have one. So I really can appreciate that. One thing that the reason why I started this podcast 2 years ago was because I had learners telling me that they were depressed, and they were saying that they didn't have a passion anymore. It's like, look, Gina, I don't have a passion. And to me, learning is growth and a passion. If you had someone come to you and say to you, I don't have a passion, I don't know what I'm going to do, what advice would you have for them, knowing that you've reached so many great things and great levels? What advice would you have for them?
Yeah, actually, if you don't mind, I can share a personal
Yes.
story on that. So my father passed away 2 years ago, and my
Oh.
mom in her upper 80s, living by herself. So when my father passed away, my mom was very depressed and saying, "What's the point for me to live anymore? Like life is
Mm.
you meaningless, no fun." So she was losing her desire to continue to live.
Mm.
And so that's similar to the people who feel like I don't have passion, I don't have anything drive me. So I
Mm.
help my mom to see go beyond yourself is for everyone. It doesn't mean to go to Everest. For her, it's like you are living not just for you, you're also living for us, me and my brother. Because without you, we're the orphan. We'll be so sad.
Yeah.
Think about how much we want you to be around. So you need to be healthy, be happy for us. So that gave her the strength. Yeah, okay, I see that. I want to see my kids doing the amazing thing. I want to see my grandkids having an amazing life. So I want to be healthy. I'm going to like properly go to bed, sleep, properly do my exercise and eat the things. So I do encourage her every day that wow, to see at this age you still can live independently, still can do your own shopping, cooking your own meals. That's
Mm.
big accomplishments. So that's for her every day. I say, if you just make sure every day you take a walk for certain minutes, and that's the accomplishment for you. So everyone is different, but we do need to expand the horizon, see beyond ourselves. That
Mm.
gives us a purpose, a meaning. And everything so small can be something passion for my mom. I said the passion could be just cook some meal that you really enjoy.
Mm.
That is something going to make you happy.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that advice. Thank you so much for giving that advice because I think no matter what your age, you still can find passion for life. You know, even like you said, if it's for the life of someone in your family, you know, or it's getting up and seeing the sunshine or seeing the stars or just smelling the beautiful environment. There's just so much to be thankful and gratitude for that we're able to express and share with each other and being connected. You know, don't be alone. You know, do this like you said early on. Find your people, find your family, find your friends to support you during those times. You know, one of the interesting things this season that I'm doing is I'm having guests from my podcast ask questions. I share about who's going to be on my podcast, and then I ask them, you know, to share a question for you. And so last week I had Frank and Lisa on, and they were so amazed by your accomplishments. And one of the things that Frank asked that he wanted to learn about you was how he asked this question: how does climbing the highest peak symbolize what you've accomplished both physically and mentally, not like just in the moment, but on a daily basis? And I thought that was just such a beautiful question for you.
Yeah, that's a great question. That sent me into a mood of reflection this morning. I love their question. Thank you so much, Lisa and Frank. So yeah, so that may actually make me reflect last week's experience. So last week I was spoken in Tacoma for the city employees conference, and my speech was Mighty Mouse Power, play big in a world that sees you small. I was empowering people to dream big, go for the big goals. And but you know what? The day before I was going on the stage, I received
Oh,
a rejection letter from a event that I have dreamed of. I went to
oh,
the audition. I did really well in the audition. I had a high hopes because that's one of my dream, the venue I want to be on. I got a rejection, and
mm,
I just noticed the moment I see the rejection. Of course, before that, I had prepared. Yeah, could be yes, could be no. But despite that preparation, the moment I see the rejection,
yeah.
still ask myself, do I even want to try again? Would I even like, am I not cut for this? So then I can see how everyone on a daily basis, we all face all kinds of no, rejections, setbacks, failures all the time. How that can impact everyone. Even someone like me who already so well trained by all the setbacks, the failures in my climbing journey. So on a daily
Wow.
basis, I still have to face those things. I just only advantage I have is I was able to pick myself up really fast because really, well, you're telling you tomorrow you're going to tell the audience to face the impossible challenges, to go for the big dreams, and how can you let yourself be turned off by the one rejection? That happens all the time. So that every day I apply the lessons I learned from my climbing, from the lesson I'm sharing with people to myself. We have to practice resilience on a daily basis, climb every little mountain every day. Then you still have to go on high spirit, go on the stage and still in high spirit pursue the next opportunity. You can never give up.
Oh, I'm going to quote you. That was beautiful. Well said. Resilient. Oh my gosh. I mean, I've had those moments too where you really want something to happen and it doesn't go the way that you expected it to go. And it's deep disappointment. And everyone has those days. I have those days, you have those days. Every single person has those days. But to have that resilience is so critical. Thank you so much for sharing that. Next week on my podcast, I am going to have Randy Sparks. I was on Randy's podcast. Randy is a beautiful soul, promotes kindness, and I just can't wait to have him. So I'm wondering, what question would you like Randy to answer for our audience next week?
Yeah, my question for Randy is, how has hosting a gratitude-centered podcast changed your approach to your work in law?
Oh, I love that question because he does. His work is not that of gratitude and kindness. So I can't wait to hear what Randy says to us next week. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Leave us with the most inspiring message that you want to leave our audience with today. Tell our audience where they can find you. What's the best way to get in contact with you? Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you, Gina, for this great platform. And so my message, because my passion right now is to empower people to strive for the higher achievements. And as I said before, the higher achievement doesn't mean you go to climb Everest or even run a marathon. Could be just like daily overcome your doubts, your hesitation, your procrastination, your excuses to just overcome that little hurdle that to make one step forward toward the direction you want to go. So my goal is to empower as many people as possible, especially leaders who are leading teams. I want to help them to achieve a higher leadership influence and help their team to become the star team. So if anyone need any help on how to properly set a mighty goal, find your mighty purpose, and how to execute that on a daily basis, please reach out to me and at mightymouthspeaker.com or reach out to me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn handle is very simple, Lei Wang, Leiwang. So at LinkedIn/in at Lei Wang. So yeah, reach out to me. I'd love to help you.
Awesome. I will definitely post your website and your contact information in the info box. But thank you for being with us. Keep inspiring, keep going out and changing lives. And thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Gina. I really appreciate this opportunity and appreciate